is Anton Gunn. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your organization has a brand. And when I say a brand, I'm not talking about the brand that you market to your patients or that you market to your suppliers. I'm talking about your brand in your community. What does your community know about you, think about you, and has as your reputational value? See, you're probably the largest employer in your community and have more people connected to your brand than you actually imagine. Every time you or someone on your team goes to the dry cleaner or the pharmacy and they forget to change out of their scrubs or they wear their badge to work every day, they're letting everybody know that they work for your organization. So you as a leader, what is your expectation about your team and about the people that you lead or that look up to you have in terms of engaging in the community? Many organizations forget that they have a brand in the community. So they might do good work inside and they might have good people that work inside, but if they don't engage in the broader external community, people could think poorly of their brand. I've been in communities where hospitals are doing world-class work inside the walls, but because they're so insular and they never go out into the broader community and do community projects and their leaders don't get involved in the community can't stand the organization. They would rather go somewhere else to get their health care and their treatment because that organization has no brand in the community or a bad brand in the community. And you don't want this to happen to you, not under your leadership. You really want people to have a good feeling about you from the inside out. So in order to protect your brand, in order to make sure your brand is thriving as it relates to your community and the surrounding community, there are a few things that you can do to ensure that your brand stays high amongst the people that you serve in the community that you're in. The first thing you can do is to make sure every year you publish an annual report telling people about the value that you bring to the community. I know some organizations do an economic impact report, which is they quantify how much money that they pay their employees and that they generate as a business. How does that have a ripple effect in the economy? Some healthcare organizations literally are responsible for 1 out of every $12 in a community. That shows you the reach of where your brand is helping the local economy go. A second thing you can do, in addition to publishing a report that focuses on your dollars, how about you focus on what value you actually bring to the community? So how many of your employees actually volunteer in the community? Have you tried to quantify the volunteer hours that people bring to your community? If you haven't, that's a good step to tell people and to show people what you're already doing. Now, if you're not doing any volunteer work, if you don't have any organized apparatus in your organization that engages in the community, well, that's the first thing that you need to do is to get your team involved. See, you have an important job to do in every community, but what's more important than just what you do day to day is how does the community feel about that? Do they feel like you're a value? So if somebody came in and tried to buy your organization and wipe it off of the face of the earth, would the community fight to have you stay there in the community, or would they care less because you haven't been engaged? So I definitely think you should get involved in the community and make sure all of your team members, your frontline workers, are involved in the community and quantify how they're involved. Another level of getting them involved and how you protect your brand is to make sure your leaders, the leaders who are your direct reports, the people who are at a management level or a director level that report up to you, make sure they're involved more than just volunteering, that they should be serving on the boards of local nonprofits, of local projects and activities that are focused on the community. The more your leaders serve in the community, the greater understanding you'll have about the challenges that exist in the community and the opportunities where you and your large organization can add value. Your leaders will also get great insights as to what's important to the community. And overall, I believe anybody that volunteers in the community will have a better appreciation for their community and will be connected to that community long term. And yes, you're protecting your brand in the community is important to your leaders long term, but really it's important to you. And let me tell you why. If a person comes to work at your organization from somewhere else around the country, and they come to work every day from 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever hours that they work, and they never get involved in the community, if work starts to get tough if there's a difficult situation on the job, it will be easy for them to quit and to move on to go to another organization. But it gets really hard for people to quit when they move to a community, take a job, and they get involved in the community. They meet people outside of the work and start to build partnerships and relationships that really gets them connected and deep rooted. So it won't matter what's going down at work. They won't feel that they can quit on their community, that they can quit on the people that they built relationships with. So if you really want to protect your brand in the community, you got to talk about how you're having an impact. You got to get your frontline leaders involved so they're having an impact, and to make sure your leaders are connected by serving on boards. If you do this and usher this in as a leader yourself, if you make sure this is happening in your organization, you will become one of the most admired leaders in your organization and one of the most admired leaders in your community. So I want to thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day.